to my channel, and I want to speak about how when God, you ever get that whisper and God is telling you to leave now. I want to talk about that because they didn't know you were warned. They thought you were walking away in confusion, but you were walking in instruction. God whispers, leave now, and you obeyed. No explanation, no closure, no goodbye. Just quiet obedience that looked like weakness, but was actually divine strategy. You felt it before, you saw it. The energy in the room shifted, laughter sounded forced, eyes stopped matching smiles. Something in your spirit said, they're planning your downfall. Not paranoia, discernment. God doesn't always show you the full pot. He just gives you a nudge. Get out. And if you hesitate, he'll shake everything until leaving becomes the only option. Sometimes protection sounds like panic. Sometimes deliverance feels like disaster. But every exit God orders is a rescue disguised as rejection. You loved them. You would have done anything to keep the connection alive. But God saw the conversations you weren't invited to, the traps being set in silence, the deals being made with your name on the line. They smiled in your face while setting your stage for embarrassment. But heaven moved faster. Before the plan could mature, God issued an evacuation order. That's why everything started crumbling at once. He needed you uncomfortable enough to leave. Because had you stayed, their plot would have looked like prophecy. But he refused to let their scheme write your story. Obedience rarely looks organized. You left in the dark. Your heart was pounding, tears blinding you, carrying only faith in fragments. People called it impulsive. They didn't know it was instruction. Didn't even know where you were going. You just knew staying meant spiritual death. And somehow, doors started opening before you could knock. Resources came from directions you never prayed toward. That's what a way out of no way really looks like. Grace arriving before logic can catch up. Meanwhile, the ones who planned your fall, they woke up to confusion. They were confused. They checked their traps and found them empty. They rehearsed their gossip and had no audience. You were gone. Gone before the damage. Gone before the smear. They can't understand how you slipped through it. They underestimated the speed of obedience. Because when God says now, he means immediately. Your escape exposed them. Your absence made their motives visible. And now, the same mouths that cursed your name have to admit, we didn't see that coming. Leaving doesn't mean instant peace. There's a wilderness between obedience and outcome. You cry in hotel rooms. You wonder if you imagined the warning. You replay everything you left behind. But then something shifts. Peace starts replacing panic. Opportunities start calling your name that no one can block. And you realize you didn't lose home. You found heaven's GPS. Sometimes God will isolate you until your discernment becomes sharper than your desire. He'll teach you that love without loyalty is a luxury you can't afford. Just give me a minute with this one. In the middle of this, I'm going to finish. I'm about I have a little bit more that I want to say. I never know how long, but I have more to say. In the end, you'll look back and realize that they didn't break you. They built the stage where your purpose could only and finally stand alone. What they meant for harm became your headline. What they used to shame you became your platform. And every voice that spoke against you became background noise to the sound of destiny unfolding. So don't curse the betrayal, bless it. It introduced you to the version of yourself that fear could never touch. Because the next time your name leaves their lips, it'll be attached to what God did, not what they said. That's not revenge, that's redemption. And redemption speaks louder than rumor ever could. Thank you for listening. See you on the next one.